Greetings, all you wild and weirdos and weirdettes out in wild and weird radio land, and we are broadcasting out to Instagram tonight because the one who's out there that if you're watching this, share it. This is one that a lot of your friends need to see. We're going to be talking about some things, talking about some pretty controversial stuff tonight, right?
We are, and regardless of, because Ron and I, we had this conversation leanings that are going to be featured tonight on the show, and regardless of the viewership's political leanings and group that's really actively talking about this.
So far.
We've had Schumer. He's not going out on these interviews. So we've only got a couple people that are really. We don't have any political affiliation here at Wild and Weird West Virginia. That's not what the show is about. So before we get going,
so if you see, if it seems like how it's leaning this way,
Joe,
it's not.
Your audio is terrible.
Tell us what you're hearing, because it's coming through fine on ours.
So it's not just me with the audio.
Check that out. You know what? Let me try this. Let me try the. How about that? Is that any better? If we have to sacrifice the Instagram, we will. 1, 2, 3. Anything?
How about now?
Let us know, because we can't.
Our audio between Ron and I sounds. Jordan says no better.
Oh, now that's weird.
So it would have to do with the uplink to YouTube.
I'm going to jump out. You stay there and test audio when you're in real quick. I'm going to jump out and then I'll come back in. It might just be where,
Alrighty. All right. Anybody else can hear anything? Does it sound any different now? Any better? Any worse? Still bad. That's weird. Still jittery. All right, Ronald, it's probably the feed, is my assumption. The audio is still crummy. So it would be with the uplink to YouTube, I'd imagine.
Yep. Not sure what that is.
They said it's jittery, like it's skipping.
Oh, that is.
So it's a latent.
Yeah, that's weird.
Ron does have in-ears in, and I'm listening directly over it's internet related in some way. My guess is it's latency.
Let me do a restart. Y'all.
It sounds clear to me.
Yeah, it does. I don't know. I mean,
guys, we're gonna kill it, and
we'll
be right back.
Kill yours. I'm killing mine. Don't.
But you just did, didn't you?
No. I just left the studio and came back.
Yeah, but it's not your computer. They can't hear. They're hearing the same issue with me.
Oh, it's coming to you too.
Yeah, it's every.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the uplink.
that's the uplink. There's not a darn thing we can do about that. Reverberation. Look at that. That's weird. Hey, what? Yeah, there's some stuff on in here. Hang on. Check this out. See if that does anything. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. How about that?
Enzo says I've refreshed the stream a couple times and
Is I'm turning on automatic mic adjust and turn everything else off. So let's see what that does. All right. Let's see how we can do this. We can't. If we shut it down, it's gone. If people want to rejoin it, yeah, we can do that. If everybody's okay with that, we can create a new stream. All right, guys, we are going to have to create a new stream because there's something going on, and it's pretty bad on our end. So bear with us. Let's see. Reboot system time. No, it's more than reboot system time. It's not the system; it's their system. So we're going to create a whole new area here. So y'all just hold tight.
I see what they're saying.
You can hear it?
Yeah, I opened up YouTube. I'm watching it live as well.
What's it doing?
Yeah, there's a jitter. There's like it's going like a just like it's latency.
Hang on a second. Just
there's an issue with the uplink.
All right, just humor me. I am going to go, and you see if it happens while I'm away.
I don't think it's related to a PC. So even with this, like I can still hear it with you guys, and the video's not great either. I think it's the whole link. Hey, you hear good now? I sound good now? Okay. Okay, well, maybe it was Ron. Maybe it was Ron. Something went on with the system. I will text him and let him know. So, guys, it has been an absolutely crazy week full of news, and we are going to be diving into it here in a bit. And we're going to cover all of this stuff once we get Ron back in here. But it has been a pretty radical week. How's everybody doing? Since we'll sit here and wait. So I'm going to give everybody a shout out real quick because this show is still brought free to you guys by Teresa's Haunted History of the Tri-Strait, Ada Cox, Nancy White, Scott Holbrook, Lisa, a.k.a. Dancer with Wolves, West Virginia Bigfoot Project, Finding the Trackway, Small Town Monsters, Tommy Swigger, Pat, Seth Beans Lamille, who has a very, very cool Mothman design coming out for the Mothman Festival, Kenny Hess, Small Town Monsters, James Nelson, Octopus with at least a few friends, Dewey the Deucer Edwards, N.W. Hall, Uvaru 235, Spooky Appalachia, Lady Wolf LR, Guitar Chains Craig, Travis Urednick, Jeffrey Steele, Chris Coots, Russ Bailey, and we've got Bigfoot Littlefoot, Terry Summerfield, Sarah Ramsey, Julie Bug. How's that audio going, guys? Angie Flannery, Donna Ho, Jen Clower, and Jamie Snell. Hope everybody still can hear us okay. Ashley Hill. On Wednesdays, we talk weird. Asher's Creation. It was your computer somehow.
Yeah. How about now? Is it working?
All right. Can you guys hear us now?
It's clear. Is that it? It's clear now? Okay.
Yeah. Once you were gone, it was
Okay.
apparently I was clear as a bell.
Okay. Okay, I got you.
So
Well,
I'm not sure what was going on then. It's
me either.
pretty wild that it was.
Yeah, I'm still going to shut down the Instagram just to save some bandwidth over here. So,
In other news, Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights will include a Fallout surprise. Yes, I did see that.
Yeah.
They've got some really cool lemonade stands and food stands set up.
It looks amazing.
I ran through the thank yous list and greeted all the good folks.
Good deal. Good deal. You guys heard the disclaimer at the beginning, right? Making sure everybody heard that.
Yeah.
Everything's good. We're going to be talking about controversial stuff tonight.
It has nothing to do with politics,
Nope.
even though some of the people that you see are affiliated with politics. We are not them. They are not us.
Yeah, it's the news. So we're going to hit the ground running, so to speak. Joe, I lost my notes. So can you pull those notes up real quick?
Yep.
Hang on. I'm able to pull mine up. Yeah, I can pull mine up. Never mind. I'm good. But yeah, you need to pull yours up too, because there's a lot to go over. There is a lot to go over. I'm not even kidding you. We're already behind. I've literally I've been making, news clips here for, I don't know, since last night, if it tells you anything. So I'm sure the computer was like rebelling in some way. It was probably just like, can we stop now?
Yep.
All right. So anyway, let's go down to the very first part of the news. And I think that's probably going to be, where's it at? And not that one. The Avi incident that's going on again. The newest one from Avi. Yeah, that one. Let me find that for us. And it's because everybody's got to hear this one. It's escalated. So, just as it were, and then we're going to talk a little bit about it. So here it is.
Analyzing right now the best image we have of it. We don't have any evidence for gas around it in the spectrum that was taken, but we do see some fuzz, some halo of scattered light around it. So usually for comets, you see a cometary tail trailing the objects from behind because it's being pushed by the radiation from the sun. The dust particles are pushed to be behind, to lag behind the object. In this case, what we are seeing is a glow in front of the object.
Okay, so we're seeing a glow in front of the object. That's what we're seeing.
Which is unusual.
But it's not, never happened before. So let's just say that for what it is. The problem I have with this is that I swear it's almost like, I don't know. Let's listen to the next clip.
The question is, what is the nature of this object? Of course, as it gets closer to the sun, we would get a better view of it. And we could use spacecraft like Juno next to Jupiter. I spoke about it with Congresswoman Paulina Luna. She called me on the phone and I gave her an update about the object, and she encouraged in a formal letter she wrote to the head of NASA, Sean Duffy, the Secretary of Transportation, to encouraging NASA to use Juno, which is next to Jupiter, to come close to 3I Atlas when it will get there on March 16th, 2026.
Now, okay. So, what? My small part.
LR, thanks, LR. Ada also hit us with one earlier right before you left.
Thank you, guys. Did you do the blessing thing?
Not yet.
Go ahead and do that while
we're doing the tests.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
No, those guys.
I'm so happy about this new studio layout. I just want to say that StreamYard, you did good this time.
They
this
did.
whole system works in micro layout now.
Yeah, I like this. So, before we go back into the Avi thing, you guys who are throwing up the trying to meet the goal here, I wanted to let you know, because it was announced last night. We are going into production with the Wild and Weird psychic testing Zener cards. the special edition, and by popular demand, it was actually overwhelming majority vote that they not be serious and they not be traditional set. However, in the future, there probably will be an actual set at some point, because they're kind of hard, to get. So we may revise them a little bit ourselves, because there's a couple of little things I kind of wish the inner cards had that they don't. So in the future, you're going to see that. But those novelty decks,
like electroshock immediately.
it could happen. I don't know yet, but I can tell you that, you are getting bacon. That's a teaser. So expect that. I mean, it's going to be what you think it's going to be is what it's going to be. So, those will be $25 a set. They will be in a box. Each box, get this, each box from the first run only. I think that's 50 that I'm going to do. 50, I think, I don't know. Anyway, till my hands quit working, I'm going to actually draw something on those boxes with a Sharpie, just to let you know. So no two boxes will ever have the exact same art. And it'll probably be bacon and, things like that. But anyway, just letting you guys know. So if you are interested in that, please let us know so we can get you on the order. Those will be coming soon. When that does happen, we will invoice you at that point. We will not invoice you until we have the cards in hand. Yes. So, yeah, be ready for that. And if you want to be in on it, like I said, just let us know, and we will make sure that it happens. Oh, we got some people down there, Joe. You want to take their names? Go ahead and just do that right now. Let's just everybody star those people and just
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. And put their names, and then you guys, we're going to need some way to get a hold of you. Obviously, there's a few of you we know how to get a hold of, but some we don't. So you might just want to, get a hold of Wild and Weird wv@gmail.com and say, send me X amount of packs, and we'll take care of the rest from that point. We'll probably just PayPal invoice you at some point when they come in.
So without any further ado, because we have a mess to cover.
So here we go. Let's go to
that. Bobby, this, like you said, not never seen before. This isn't extremely unusual.
It's weird, but not unusual.
It's strange.
But is it strange enough to call it a possible nuclear powered spacecraft?
I can't get on board with that directly myself.
Same.
Because it needs to be, I need to see more.
I need to see more data. I'm sorry, I do. I need to see more data. But here's what really got me about this whole thing, guys. And I want every single person here who's interested in this phenomena,
like, share, and subscribe.
Well, I want you to do that too, obviously. It's like, share, and subscribe. I always forget that social media stuff. But I want you to respond to this when you see this. Okay, this is going to be it. So here we go. Oh,
Tony said to draw a picture of glowing Joe on him.
Oh, that'll probably be one. All right, so here's the final clip from Avi, and this is the one I want everybody to respond to. Okay.
Super quick, Avi. Is there any reason to be concerned about this?
Yeah, you never know what kind of intent it has. And I think we should, in the future, have some international organization that decides how to respond to a visitor to our backyard, because that visitor may enter through the front door.
He's not wrong.
I can get on board with that. That doesn't sound crazy.
He's not wrong. However, knowing the atmosphere, reading the room, he knows what's been said on social media at this point.
Oh yeah, he's seen it all.
And
there's
when
no
she
way
says,
he hasn't.
yeah, and she says, should we be concerned? And he didn't say maybe, possibly. He says, yes. I think we should. Yeah. What? I mean, why? Why should we? So, what's the deal here, people? I mean, yeah, let's get you guys weighing in on this really quick.
Enzo agrees with the sentiment. And I got to say, I do too, to a degree. Now he is taking a very serious stance on this, and he's basically saying, even if this one isn't, the next one might be.
Right.
is kind of where he's at, right?
That's what he's trying to say.
So nobody's hearing it that way.
No.
But that's basically what he's saying. This is the third interstellar object we've had in our galaxy that we're aware of since we've been monitoring.
Well, our solar system. But
there could be, our solar system. There could be more coming. There are more coming. You can pretty just rest assured that there are, but we don't know what could be coming.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. I can get it.
Yeah.
Tony says front door aliens. Y'all need return of V. Just saying, or reruns of V.
Yeah, we do. I think everybody needs to probably start watching V right now as a preparatory, response. Possibly it might help. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to go there like everybody else does. Tony did bring up one thing. I want to put this up here real quick before it scrolls away. Y'all keep answering. Yes, do that. It's more likely he's sending an Alcubierre warp drive, basically, is what he's saying, than a nuclear. Now that makes a lot more sense. And this thing is glowing on the front, right?
Yeah.
There's a whole lot more to this, by the way. Like I've got the stuff. I'll post up some links in the actual description. You guys can go look at that. But the data does say that there's something weird going on. Okay, it's weird. It's not unprecedented. It's weird, but we haven't seen these before. So there's that. It's a hypersonic. You're
winning the comments.
Matt Carter just won the comment section tonight, folks. I want to make sure y'all know that's probably a good 10-pointer right there. So
easy.
You got to do better than that, people. It's gonna be hard to beat. It's gonna be hard
said our detection gear has only been upgraded to detect such things several years ago.
Right.
These kind of visitors may have been almost common, so let's not freak out. But
exactly.
And I agree, because there's going to be more. Like you said, we only got advanced enough to really look at these things a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't be freaking out about each one that comes in.
I mean, unless
we see something that, it's one of those things where kind of Occam's razor in this situation, if it looks like a rock, moves like a rock, it's probably a rock. If we get something that moves into the solar system that looks like it's been engineered.
Yeah.
Well,
we had something allegedly that
true.
did that. Oumuamua was very strange. And, that's another thing. I'm going to put some links up there for people who didn't know this, but back during the whole drone scare, there was some Oumuamua stuff that came out that was kind of interesting. And, of course, they tried to create a whole new realm of physics to explain that away at the time, if you remember correctly about that. But apparently, there's some things about these. So we're going to watch this thing. But the light that's on the front, that's interesting to me, because keep going, guys. You're doing great. So the light that's on the front could literally be an energy transfer of some sort, right? Because, if it is moving really fast, that could be what's happening. Yeah, you guys are just winning. You're all winners to me. Every single one. I don't care what anybody says about you all.
Aliens, guys, they can see us now.
Yeah,
that's
right.
What they said back in last November. I'm pretty sure that's what happened last November when Ron and I were out at the research area where we captured the orange ball that went into warp speed.
Yeah.
Is oh crap, they see us. And I even said that on the video.
You did say that. Yeah, it's on the thing. It was pretty funny.
Three-Eye Alice is flashing its high beams, right?
Yeah. I mean, and we're going to watch it. I think we'll know within the next couple of weeks of if it does anything weird.
Yeah.
And at that point, we'll get a little more excited about it. But right now, it's just a really cool thing that's moving through our solar system. We're going to watch. Okay. I know everybody else is doom and glooming it, but that's not the case just yet.
It's a watch and see scenario at the moment.
Yeah. Guarded.
But the last watch and see didn't make sense. And that's been covered here recently as well.
Correct.
This is going back to Oumuamua. Here's Avia Loeb again, right there in the news. It's the little alien. We'll leave a comment light on for you. That's a good one. We can turn off the lights and pretend we ain't here. Maybe they'll go away. Yeah, that would be the way to go. So
yeah,
Oumuamua recently, Michio Kaku
It was
came
in February. It was in February. It was
in
during
February.
during the
What was going on
drone
in February,
scare.
Ron? Tell us
The
what was
drone
up.
scare. We talked about this. There was other things that happened. Remember the research paper. There was so many things that happened during that drone scare that just didn't make the
drones
rounds.
took everybody's attention. Remember, we were asking, I wonder what these drones are trying to take the attention from.
I think we might know now.
Well, Kaku came out with a paper where he and a bunch of other astrophysicists got together and they put into a quantum AI computing, and calculated the Oumuamua trajectory and essentially found some unprecedented things
that we didn't know.
Right, that we didn't know. And there is a visual. They engineered a visual trajectory map.
Yeah. Can you go ahead and you got the link for that, by the way? Can you put that up there for them?
Yeah, I can throw it into the comments.
Throw that in the comments. That way you guys can look at that on your own time. It's about 30 minutes. And sadly, it is an AI generated video, but it's full of incredible information. So the info is legit, but don't, get
now the part where they're showing the clip about the trajectory was not AI generated.
Yeah. So watch
it was
that
actually that, because there are some clips in there that aren't AI, but the audio's AI and everything else is AI. It's kind of weird.
Younger Productions is in the house. Welcome. I do recall. It's been a while. Okay, so let's move to. Oh, you got it? You got it up there?
It's in the chat.
There you go, guys.
It is a Facebook hyperlink. You guys can go ahead and jump in that and copy pasta that right into your search engine.
Yep, put that over there.
It's interesting. This if all these other astrophysicists who have way more alphabet letters behind their name than mine are right. The way that they calculated the trajectory of this thing, it came in, and now this might be wrong. You talked about this. It could have a very strange elliptical orbit.
Yes.
We've only been studying these things for a few years, like Enzo said. This thing could have a very tight end ratio turn, where when it comes in on its orbit and boosts out, then it could just be real tight. However, when it comes in and it goes at the same speed that it came in at until it gets 2 planets away, and all of a sudden at Mach Jesus takes off and gets out of our solar system.
There's that again.
That's extremely unusual.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It really is. It's kind of weird. So let's move on from Avi and his stuff.
We've got way bigger fish.
We've got way bigger. So really quick, this week we did have a very interesting thing happen. We had we had so many weird things happen, but one of them, there was go ahead with that one, Joe.
It's Asher's Creations, but I've changed my name and profile picture as I didn't like the name anymore.
Well, you just go right ahead and do that. Let's see. Kevin Knuth. Yeah, that's right. We're going to hear a little bit of some stuff from him in a little bit. He was on a podcast, and he dropped a few little, I'm not going to say the word, but he revealed some stuff. We had Burlison revealing stuff. We had that happening. We also had Ross Coulthart interview one of the witnesses from Rendlesham, which was, two. But one of the, there's a new movie, right? And that was the whole story's about. Yeah. New movie.
You had the director and 2 witnesses.
Yeah. And I've got a little clip, just a clip of what I believe it was Larry Warren had to say. And just listen to his description of the NHI here and see if any of it sounds familiar to you guys.
The best way I'm describing it, just a part of the fabric of that craft separated on the ground, 3 feet above the ground, or a foot off the ground. I mean, these things in it faded out, and there were 3 individual looking. In fact, Bastin's is the one that said, "Why are these kids here?"
He said kids, right? That's what he said. Why are these kids here?
These kids here?
And we've heard that before. We heard that from the aerial school. They the kids who saw the kids, but they weren't kids, you know, the whole thing.
Yep.
So let's continue.
Just everything was bizarre, and it was there. And who else was there is, and to describe them, there was the big eyes, but it was like Ghost, okay? It looked like Ghost. It wasn't like Close Encounters, the little aliens come out and shake everyone's hands and off they go. It was very surreal and very surreal. Did it happen?
Okay, I need descriptions. So are they humanoid creatures?
Oh yeah,
What
they were.
color are they?
Well, geez, they were like ghosts. Picture Casper the Friendly Ghost, but not friendly. Facial features not really defined. Inside these lights, and you couldn't see the lower extremities very well.
Did they have arms? Did they have
legs?
Yeah.
There were two arms, and it went down on. They were on the sides of these beings, things, non-humans.
Did they have hair, ears,
Nope.
nose?
No, nothing. It's the classic Communion. You ever see the book by Whitley Strieber, Communion? Of course, everyone's seen that cover. That face, that's what it was.
Oh boy.
Now, the very first thing that he said about this craft was like the fabric opened up.
Mm-hmm.
It was glowing gold.
Mm-hmm.
A little over a year ago, a photograph was sent to Wild and Weird, West Virginia, of a small glowing gold kid, skeleton baby.
The skeleton babies. Yeah. You guys remember that, right?
Very indescript in how they looked, and we saw the photographs. We showed you the photographs.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked to just kind of hover a foot off the ground.
Yep. Sure did. Yeah, sure did. That's the crazy part about this. This sounds, it sounds legit is what it sounds. That as wacky as some people want to make this, it's not. And I can't really say any more than that. All I can say is that this sounds very familiar. Right, Joe?
It really does sound extremely familiar. And then bringing in the reference to the cover of Communion.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that bring up that exact image. I don't think there's a coincidence for that.
Right.
It is one of those things where... You know, Tony, he said not so friendly, and it could have just been the interpretation at the time. It's hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of parallels.
Yeah. And, you know, that's the whole point. It's like, well, we've heard this description so many times now. It's just like, I don't know. It's almost like cliche, isn't it? And, you know, and I don't mean it's from people who are, you know, quoting Strieber. I'm talking about people who have had these experiences. They've seen these things, and they're actually telling us the same stuff, the same descriptions. And there he is saying literally the same thing.
And, you know, looking at it from that angle, it very could be a collective subconscious, could be part of the zeitgeist. I mean, obviously this image was made extremely popular by pop culture, and it took media, it took sci-fi by storm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, that's the whole point of the, you know, the discussion is that we've got some way that it seems that something, there's a transfer, whether it be a transfer of knowledge, of images into your head, etc. that's happening. It does seem that people are seeing the same archetype. They're seeing the same messenger, so to speak, right?
Yeah, in one way or another.
In one way or another, yeah. So I thought that was very interesting. I thought it was a really cool, a little clip, and I was like, wow, now this is cool. He says other things too, by the way. That case is fantastic. We just don't have time to cover that. That's a whole show on its own. Again, we will have the links. You can go over there and check that stuff out on your own. It is very cool, but we do have some other links and some other clips, I mean, that we have to go to.
The whole point of Communion was that nobody saw it before, but masses did remember afterwards.
That's right. Yeah, it was a trigger event. And that goes to the narrative that we touched on at the end of Paranormal Horizons, that it seems like sometimes this phenomena leads you to tell the story.
Yeah.
And that's interesting because it's not a new thing. It's something that's been happening literally forever throughout history. Okay, what do we got up next? We've got clip number 1. Yeah, clip number 1. And this was from the Joe Rogan show, right? Is that what that was from?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to go back to the Luna interview because there was some things in there. We got to finally watch the whole 3 hours or whatever it was of that thing. And
I can't tell you how many times over the last week I've sat down and watched the entire thing and dissected it, watched the body language, watched the subtle nuances, just because it is remarkable.
Right. So we've actually gone to the ones that we think are important. And we're gonna go through those and we're gonna step through them and we're gonna watch them and you guys can react to them and tell us what you think. But there's something going on here. That's the bottom line. The case is basically made that something is going on, and it's not just Luna. We're going to be listening to other people as well. So just bear in mind, this is not just one person's. It's not clips of just one person. It's clips of a lot of people talking about the same thing in different ways. And what's really weird, Joe, it all happened within about a week.
Oh yeah, it did. Everything. It's like the dominoes started falling. And they purposely came out right after the date was announced, right after the hard date for the next hearing was announced. Yeah. It's almost as if they got out in front of something.
Right. That's what I was seeing too. So, right or wrong, clip number 1, which literally talks about a cover-up, right? Is this the one that starts talking about the cover-up, I think? Let's see.
If they've had it for this long, I mean, if they really did recover something as early as 1947, excuse me.
Well, what I can tell you is for us specifically, we actually were made aware. Some people had come forward that said that they wanted to brief. So about 2 years ago when all this kicked off, we had requested briefings from Arrow that's in charge of kind of compiling the investigative aspect of UAP stuff. And by the way, from the get-go, even in talking to Arrow, I was like, this organization is literally a BS organization. They're never going to tell us anything. And every interaction that we had in the skiff, I was like, this is a nothing burger. But then these people came forward and said that they were actually they were told to not brief our group specifically on this topic, and that it was from, at the time, members of House leadership, but they wouldn't say who.
Well, there's something. They wouldn't say who. And, she doesn't go into that. Oh, look, the owls are hooting, so it's going to be a good night.
Yep, I threw that one up here a minute ago.
No, you got that. That's good. But, yeah. And to answer the question as to what they may be or may not be, etc., we get this little clip that was in there.
Do you think that it's possible that these are U.S. vehicles that are top secret?
I definitely think that there's a level of advanced technology that the U.S. government has. And I think that tech can be housed within the defense contractor realm. And of course, some information is going to be classified. But I can also tell you, and this might sound crazy, but based on our investigations and stuff that we've seen, okay, there is definitely something that I think would rival what we know currently with physics, and a tech that potentially is out there that we don't have the ability to reproduce, because it would basically be like dropping a cell phone right off back during the time of maybe caveman.
Okay. And then to follow that up, Joe, check this out. This was literally just, I think 2 days ago is when this one came out. I believe this was the, is this the Danny Jones one? Yeah, it is. This is from the Danny Jones podcast.
Do you think it's possible that any of this stuff could be some like military stuff that we don't know about?
No, absolutely not.
Really?
For one good reason. And the reason sitting on your shelf right over there, Richard Dolan's book on USOs. Richard Dolan has a new book on unidentified submerged objects.
Right.
These things have been these things have been observed by and recorded in ship's logs for over 150 years. You have reports from the 1800s of a disc coming out of the water, hovering next to the ship, and then shooting off into the clouds. That's been going on for 150 years.
Right. Yeah.
And you can't, and once you know that those cases exist, you can't just say, got to be Russian or Chinese. That doesn't hold water anymore. It's silly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but don't you think it's possible that we could have got our hands on some of that stuff and like recreated it ourselves?
So some of the modern day things could be modern secret military technology. That's true. But the cases from the 1800s certainly you can't.
That you can't explain away with technology.
And so,
right?
so you can't, you don't get rid of the extraterrestrial or non-human hypothesis by just looking at the military technology argument today. The 150-year-old cases, you got to give that up.
Which that is one of the primary things that no one wants to talk about when we talk about the UFO phenomena.
Correct.
Everyone, every skeptic under the sun. And I love having these kind of conversations with skeptics because we are very objective. We do look at things with our skepticals on, okay? Which is why, you know, we can look at Avi Loeb's stuff and not jump into the deep end and be like, oh yeah, here they come. But when you bring up these older accounts, when you bring up the Foo Fighters, when you bring up things from, you know, the wood carving, when you bring up all these different things from, you know, 150 plus years ago,
yeah,
we can't just say, oh, that's the American military industrial complex.
Right.
No, sorry, that doesn't fit the bill. That doesn't quite cut it.
Right. When you're talking about the orbs and the triangles on the Nuremberg wood carving or the wood prints, what you're referring to there, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's
the wood cut.
Yeah, hundreds of years ago. Funny. So Ron and Joe will speak for humanity, but mostly for us weirdos.
Thank you, Oz. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much.
Much appreciated.
Thank you.
So
water. It brings in water. And that is an element here. We have heard this over and over and over again, right?
Well, do you have the Burlison clip?
I'm going to play the Burlison clip just in a bit. Before we do that, I want you to hear the other part of what Kevin said about
this is another phenomenal interview, guys. Definitely go check out every interview that we are placing in this show. I encourage you all to go watch the entirety of those interviews because watch them more than once. They're just phenomenal.
Yeah. And, you know, these are the videos that need to be shared out. It's not the AI generated stuff about, you know, motherships heading for Earth. This is the real stuff. You got people who have actual, you know, they have actual scientific knowledge. Oh my God, it's scary. Everyone on the road, in and out of signal, listening where I can. There you go. Well, we already went through that here, so we understand. Eyes in the Woods, go ahead and tag that up there, Joe.
What is it?
We got a blessing up there.
For Oz, okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, Gary right there too. Check that
Gary,
out.
Thank you guys. Here we go.
Both of you guys.
Thank you, everybody. You guys are what keep this show funded for eons and eons to come and not behind paywalls. So everybody can come to Wild and Weird Radio's channel and watch every ounce of content that we have for free.
Yeah, actually, they should be linked. I don't know why. Did I not save it? I probably didn't save it. So that's probably my fault. So hang on a second. I will put those links over there for you right now. And that way you can stay up on all that stuff, Enzo.
Yeah, normally, anytime you see a video in our episode, we link it in the description and you guys can go grab it. But from where Ron had to dip out earlier, it could have scrubbed some of that.
That's probably what happened.
So
real quick, let me go to live real quick and put this in here. Oh, he's right. Yeah, it's not here. It's totally not here. Here we go. Boom. Now it is. We got that in there for you guys. Got it on. It's all good. Boom, just like that. So what we want to do is we want to listen to what he's talking about with the technology, right? Because that Boy, oh boy, that's interesting. So let me load that clip up for you here real quick. And that is 3A, 3B. Yep.
22 Raptor goes to 1,400 miles per hour. Okay. Wow. So
and they can't accelerate more
200
than
times the speed of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's insane. And these things also have to like slow down. They have to stop. They stop on a dime. That's
the accelerations are insane. Yeah. And that energy has to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So where does that energy, that kinetic energy, first, where does the energy come from? It's coming from their engines. Okay, fine. You can just say that and maybe get away with it. But when it stops, where does the energy go?
Right.
That's a bigger question. You know, in a car, you have brakes. The brakes heat up, right? But with this sort of thing, where does the energy go? You've got a ton of kinetic energy to get rid of in fractions of a second. It's just no way to do it. There should be a huge explosion when it happens, and it doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, we really don't understand what these things do at all. And it's not that it's advanced technology. It is conceptually far beyond us. They're amazing.
Conceptually far beyond us, meaning that it's not just technology that's maybe 10, 15 years ahead of where we're at currently. We're talking, we can't even conceive. Our best scientists, our greatest engineers cannot even fathom the functionality.
Yeah. So basically you're dealing with, technology that looks magical. That's what you're hearing, it's hard to say, how far ahead they are, but we heard the whole thing about the water, right? That little thing there. Well, Burlison even talked about that. And one of the witnesses that they talked to actually spoke about there being some kind of something under the water, something under the ocean.
Most rememberable conversations I've had was the one that I had recently, where Anna, Paulina, Luna, and myself met with a whistleblower. I had to travel to get there. And I mean, it took me an entire day to get there and back. And it was someone who is coming from the nautical source. And so the activity that's happening under the ocean is what he was talking about. And it was kind of remarkable. Almost reminded me of the movie Abyss. To give you asked me about a movie.
Oh yeah.
He didn't say Abyss, but the things he was talking about reminded me of the movie Abyss.
Now, in regards to the water kind of formation or the like almost jellyfish manta ray beings?
No, just that there is a structure in the deep ocean.
Did you guys hear that? That part was critical to hear and understand. We just had a member of Congress go on X in a space.
It was over a 3-hour conversation.
Come in, listen, and talk.
That was over a 3-hour conversation on his own time. Just wanted to let you guys.
Yeah.
If you didn't
on
know.
a Saturday evening.
Yeah.
Okay. 3-hour conversation he spent, and he just joined it, went in. He said he had an invite. He went, he did it.
Mr. Burlison, if you're listening, same, come on
Send
over.
us. We will have you come on, give you all the time you want.
Yeah.
But he just said to the world that he has seen evidence of structures in our oceans. Now, let that simmer for a second. Ron, what does that say to you?
Well, that says to me that we've got a lot of ancient legends that talk about structures in our water, that there were, civilizations here before us, and, they're not there anymore. The oceans have kind of taken it away, so to speak. Actually, we did a whole series about that back in the day. Remember that?
Right. And we're talking about civilizations and things of that nature. But this is something that reminds me more of this instance right here that Matt brought up.
I'll go that.
What about the time that the object off the coast of Southern California and they scrubbed it off Google Maps once Rear Admiral Gallaudet pointed it out?
I'm not
this was a 2-mile wide mound that was moving.
I'm not convinced that it wasn't who he was talking about. He never mentioned who he was talking about, guys. He just says, of the nautical source. And Tim Gaudet was very vocal about this for a while, if you recall. And he hasn't said much lately. So is that who's going to be one of the star witnesses? I don't know. But boy, wouldn't it be something if that's the case?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because this is a 2-mile diameter structure. Now, when you say 2-mile diameter, 2-mile straight line, okay, whatever. This was like an oval shaped, egg shaped thing that was 2 miles from end to end and 2 miles across. That is if you put it in a square, it's basically 4 square miles, but it's a sphere, essentially.
These people got this planning to do. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, right. They really do. But this thing was moving and you could see the footprint that it was leaving on the ocean.
Yeah.
Now, off of that, back to what Burlison said. He said that he has seen evidence of massive structures under the ocean.
Yeah, he's seen evidence. That's right. And it's really bold of him to do that. Brave of him, not bold, but it's brave of him to do this because he knows that, it's happened before. His words have been twisted and turned into, Representative Burlison said this. I mean, he didn't. He just said, I've seen this. I've heard this. I've witnessed this. I have a witness that saw this. What he says right there, that the witness, and it sounds like a really good witness, is being truthful. And he may even have proof for all we know. We don't know who it is. We don't know any further stories about it. There are people who want to pick it apart and poke at it and say, that's just, show us the proof, show us the proof. Well, maybe they will. I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Yes, Tim was on the last panel that they had. There's potential you might see him again. He's been on several different talk shows doing things and making appearances talking about it. Yeah, it's pretty wild, okay? It's to put it just mildly, we have
no, that's true, Godot. We don't have tech to withstand such pressures, procedures.
Oh
yeah, pressures for large structures under the ocean.
The amount of force.
Yeah,
pressing down.
It's like C-Lab 2025. So.
A 2 mile diameter circle is 6.28 miles in area.
Massive, truly massive. And, could it be? Yeah, it could be, right?
But the takeaway, we just had a member of Congress go on a public forum and just cavalierly said, oh, yeah, I've seen evidence of massive superstructures under the ocean.
Well, that's the stuff he can talk about. So imagine what he can't talk about.
Right.
So here's another clip for me. This one was from the Joe Rogan one. This is another one of the clips that for whatever reason just doesn't get any play. I don't know why, because it's pretty significant, especially in light of what you just heard. Remember how I said all this stuff is kind of nonlinear? All ufology is nonlinear? That sure seems like it, doesn't it? Because all these things, when you put them together, they kind of start making sense. And you kind of see a pattern forming here, which means that the inside people they're on a page, they're on a book, they're kind of doing this by some design. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, because they're not dead yet.
Right, exactly. Good point.
They're still alive.
No, they're fine. They're happy and fine, and going to restaurants and having the good old life, right?
Oh man.
So what's changed? There's your question you need to be asking yourself. So here we go. Listen to this one. Go ahead and pay attention. Pay attention to what's said right here. Adam, you pay attention to what's said right here.
I can tell you in our hearing, we are actually notified, and you can pull this up. I think it was one of the witnesses had talked about what had happened at Vandenberg Air Base, where there was this thing that appeared over the base. It actually had multiple blotters reporting on it from phone calls into law enforcement from like hundreds of people. And whatever had appeared over the base was basically bigger than a football field and basically a cube, a red cube with some weird thing in the center of it. I actually had our witness draw this out. This guy is sober as a priest. I mean, was a great pilot, and he's talking about all this. And so, you know, you talk about this stuff, it seems like a sci-fi movie, but based on the evidence that we've seen, I don't have any reason to believe that these people are lying. Based on the evidence that I've seen from our own government, I think that there's something there that the American people deserve to have access to.
Based on the evidence, something is there.
Says the first thing I want to know about NHI is, do they like to have fun? And what do they do for fun? That will tell us if they're safe or not.
Well, I think the problem is that we're assuming that all NHI are the same NHI.
Bingo.
You know, and I made that mistake years ago. I thought, you know, this, whatever this is, there's only this one thing, right? And then I'm like, wait, no, there isn't. Because there are much stranger encounters. And, you know, what really got me was, you know, the witness that we talked to, you know, that encounter solidified some of the, you know, you can read about those horror story ones, right? But when you sit down and you look in somebody's eyes and you have them telling that story and you know they're telling the truth, that changes things.
Yeah.
That changes things. And you realize, wait, that's not the same thing. That is so far off, not the same thing. And yeah, I think it's just, you know, that's the weird part of this whole thing. I think we're just stereotyping it and saying, oh, well, the Greys. Yeah, it's not just the Greys, whatever they are.
And that was conversations that you and I had even early on before Wild and Weird was ever dreamed of. It was when we were just cruising around selling reptiles. We would have these kind of conversations and talk about that stuff. And then Vincent Ellison brings up the point that we're going to hit.
Oh, look at you reading people's minds.
To the ends of the show.
Look at you reading people's minds.
Who, what, where?
Because that's literally where we're going to be going.
Yes.
And where we're going, you got to buckle up, man. Let's see. Where was we at here? That was the cube, right? So clip. Cube, yeah. Okay, so clip B is what I need to find next before B. That's this one.
His second in command comes in, and they managed to get one pilot to come down and brief us. And what I will tell you is, I will say it, Representative Gates has gone on record. He actually did as soon as he left office that we've seen stuff that I don't believe was created by mankind.
So you can't tell us what you saw, but
I'm gonna let you infer.
See, this is the problem that I have with all this stuff.
I should be able to tell you without losing my clearance.
Well, not just that people that have that information should give that information to the general public.
Correct.
And stop treating us like you're smarter than us and that you can handle it and we can't. That's silly.
She said, I'm going to let you infer.
That means she can't say it.
That means she can't say yes.
Right.
That means that she could have said no.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not allowed to say yes, so I'm going to let you infer it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I think Rogan brings up a good point, Ron.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? And we're going to bring up that point again in a little bit, because there was some really hypocritical moments during this conversation that proved Luna's bias. And I'm going to call it what it is. It's bias. And yeah, you're going to see some play on that. But my whole thing is, like she said, Representative Gates has said, it's not from here. It's not ours.
Enzo says, I'm sure the secret keepers were mortified to hear Burlison chatting on X. That's why they try to shut congressional people out.
Mm-hmm.
They think that they will blab about something they don't want out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Matt Carter said, I think the revealing of the phenomena will be will destabilize everything. I think abductions is the aspect that will. Good luck telling the world that they can take you whenever they want.
Yeah, that's one of them. You're absolutely right, Matt. I think that's one of them. I think there are more disturbing aspects of it than that, but yeah, there's that's one of them for sure.
Godot says, afraid of their evangelical base. Well, the problem with this is these two people who are out here talking are they self-proclaimed evangelicals, and they're out here talking about it, and they're both saying that it hasn't disrupted their faith at all, which we'll get into that some later as well.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go. We're getting there. We're moving as fast as we can though, because we got a couple more of these to go. And then we want your opinions.
Yeah, we want you guys to weigh in on this.
This isn't just a
one-sided conversation. We're wanting to get everybody involved here because this is the conversation, everybody. This is, if you catch my drift, this is the conversation.
Yeah, it's the one we've been trying to say, we're going to have. And so we're having that conversation now, kids.
Yeah.
Because it's important that we have it now, I think, and you'll see why. This is clip number 5, and this is basically it kind of speaks for itself.
Why we have to declassify, which is why.
You know the Hal Puthoff stuff?
No.
It's okay. Hal Puthoff during the Bush administration was assigned, he was one of many scientists, and this is also in the age of disclosure. He was one of many scientists that was assigned to put a numerical value to pros and cons of UFO disclosure. So they said to him, we have a crashed UFO that we have been back engineering, and we want to release information to society to let people know that UFOs are real and that there is something else out there that's not us, that's much more intelligent than we are. So they have this list of pros and cons: banking, religion, societal structure, everything on one side. And then the pros, like, whatever the positive aspects of it would be. And every single scientist said that the cons outweighed the pros. And he said, I would have loved to have had disclosure, but this was just what they asked me to do. They asked me to compile numbers and to do it in a way that's super objective. And he said, if I'm doing my job, this is where I think it would completely wreck our government.
How about that?
Pretty interesting.
How about that?
We've covered that on the show.
Yeah.
During the history of ufology.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. But yeah,
it was a very long time ago.
Yes, yeah, that was before a lot of these folks ever even knew what Wild and Weird radio was.
I know, right?
Many of us,
because that was it was audio only, but then we uploaded those episodes. I think just audio only.
That was the first year. That was the first year. That was 2020. That's how long ago that was. But here's the thing, guys. We are dealing with a moment now. I know just a lot of people are like, "Oh, this has happened before. It's no big deal. Don't get excited." No, it hasn't. It hasn't been like this ever before. This is different. We're in uncharted waters. We are so far across the red line at this point that we're going one way, or we're just going to get lost. That's what's going to happen. I don't think you can shove the genie back in the bottle at this point.
No.
It would take something really big to shove the genie back in the bottle at this point, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, at this point, Occam's razor kind of points that we aren't alone.
Right.
That is the most likely answer in this situation.
Right.
And putting the genie back in the bottle would mean trying to undo and unravel almost 10 years of modern history just because of the news coverage from 2017 forward. We're right on the heels of 2026, guys. I know that's weird. It feels like we just did the New Year's episode, but we are 4 months away from 2026. In 2 years, it will then be 10 years since the Nimitz video was leaked or released purposely.
Now, if anyone's paying attention, you understand the significance of this. There is it seems like these things occur on a set base of timelines, and we've seen it repeated multiple times. We've seen the December disclosures and the January disclosures. Those are the two main months that you always watch. Something really big happens in January or December. Happens every time. It's happened since 2017, right?
Yeah.
There's been something. It'll be 10 years.
Yep. Tony said Christianity's been discussing exotheology since the Middle Ages. The problem will be the aliens or demons crowd. Yep. And we're seeing a lot of the people turn from that, and there's a lot of people gravitating towards it as well, which is mind-numbing, but is what it is.
Well, it's okay. I saw today the Himalayan salt was made from the blood of giants. So
I saw that. Yeah, it's Nephilim meat.
Yeah, it's Nephilim meat. So
I cook with Nephilim powder every other day, and that is what keeps this gorgeous skin tone and shiny scalp.
Makes perfect sense to me. But the scary part is about that. We can joke about that, right? We can joke about that. But here's the thing. We're going to talk about this in a little bit too. But here's the thing. If that is the general mentality, if we have gotten so far away from actual science, if we've gotten so far away from critical thinking, from just being biased and the way I believe is the way I believe, and you can't show me anything any different. If you're so locked, and if something happens, man, well, what's the point? What's the point to start over at that point? Because no one's going to remember how to boil an egg. Or they're going to think eggs came from demons and avoid them and starve to death. It's one of the two. So this is where we are. It's terrifying. And so we need to make sure that we have this conversation. That's why we're having this conversation. That's why I told you guys to make sure you share this out to everybody, We don't have a massive following. We don't have the, tens and thousands of followers, but the people we do get out to, they tend to stay. There's a reason they're staying. We might lose one or two, but when we lose one or two, we always gain 5. There's a reason they stay. You guys are here for a reason. I don't know what it is, but thanks for being here.
Even if it is just being mildly entertained.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Tony says the wreck our government part is inevitable. It very well can be. The longer that they wait, the greater the people's outrage against the gatekeepers will be. That's 100% true. But there's going to have to be so many things like complete amnesty that gets granted before some of this stuff will get come out. And honestly, I don't think it's all going to ever come out just because crimes against humanity or international war crimes. But yeah.
Well, they're actually talking about an amnesty period. And we talked about this years ago. That's what Reverend Carter was talking about. He's like, to do this, you're going to have to make an amnesty for these people. That's kind of what they're talking about at this point, creating this amnesty, shelter that's going to be limited. To come forward between this time and that time, and all will be forgiven. But if we catch you after this time, there's going to be problems.
Which... we had talked about that. Ron and I had actually talked about the whole military industrial complex side of it previously. We've even talked about it here on the show, but that is the budgeting and all that stuff. That's where all that's getting wiped away to, is all getting spilled there for whatever reason, trying to turn some of the stuff into weaponry. Yeah. And if I threw that one there a second ago too, absolutely. If the internet says it has to be true.
Yes. Can't change your mind. That's exactly right. So here's what's the truth. This is the best podcast you'll ever listen to.
And because it's on the internet.
It's on the internet. Can't change your mind. That's it. That's your rules, not mine.
Next clip.
Here we go. And this one is, this is a good one. This is true. I mean, you talked about this, and I think we've said this multiple times on here, that things are changing. Here you're going to hear the exact same words. Things are indeed starting to change, and boy, are they.
Completely wreck any idea that the people that are in charge of us have any position of authority. When there's something that can go 100 million times faster than we think is physically possible through the universe, appear out of nowhere, stop all of our nuclear programs, shut down bases, do weird shit.
But don't you think that that's where kind of it's been interesting, because society has moved away from this aspect of like having a spiritual grounding and even believing in like most people today, I think when you talk about like praying, even that whole concept is kind of just like, oh, they're just, and I feel like that thing's kind of poo-pooed, but if you have like a grounding in that, and going back to what I was saying earlier, I think that that's not like, I don't think that society would do that. Granted, I'm not a scientist, I'm not running numbers, but just based on how we've kind of been evolving with access to information and kind of the questions, the discussions that have been happening, not just here, but I think internationally.
Yeah, so that hints at internationally. We talked about this.
Yep.
There are things happening on the world stage that are pretty strange. And it's probably only going to get stranger, right?
Enzo says, I feel a major part of not releasing it is the question, why have you kept it secret all of this time, and to what extent have you gone to keep it a secret?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
How many tombstones are littering a field?
Yeah, of innocent people, by the way.
Of innocent people for the sake of keeping the secret.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you the story that I heard from, Stan up at Kecksburg. And one of the things that he was recounting was, after the crash, the retrieval. There was a group of kids that were sitting on a porch, and as the big trucks came by with the object on it, they slowed down in front of the porch, and one of the guys screamed out to the kids. He's like, "Hey kids, y'all want to do something really good for your country?" And of course they're, yeah, it's like, okay, good. So here's what you're going to do. When people come and they ask where this thing came, you point the other direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's always been this, control the narrative, make sure that they don't find whatever may still be there or stumble across it at some point.
Another aspect is, what else have you lied to us about for all of these years? Yeah. And that's going to be something else. Like once you pull the blanket off of this, which I believe just happened, there's going to be a whole lot of questions.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot.
Amnesty for the past crimes is the only chance of having these guys talk. Yeah,
it's 100%, and so you're 100% on that.
All right, next clip.
The next one. Oh yeah, this is the one where they kind of start talking about the Book of Enoch, and it gets really uncomfortable right here. Just to let a couple of you guys know. So here's the thing: feel free to comment however you like, but have respect for other people's views and other people's.
And also keep in mind, this is an ancient text.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about this a little bit.
I just think a lot's changing. Now, to say that we were, and I've heard some wild theories, like people think that, humanity was seeded by UFOs, and that's I don't agree with that theory. I'm going to address it because
it's a fun one.
It's an interesting theory.
If you found out it was true, would you tell everybody?
I mean, I'd be transparent about it, but I just don't personally believe it.
But would you believe it if you found out that was the information that the government had?
Well, I put it out there because that's what I'm
right. But what
would
that do for your belief system?
That would suck.
But would it suck really? Maybe that's what's confusing about the Bible. Maybe what's confusing is that it was an oral tradition for hundreds, if not 1,000 years before it was ever written down, right?
So I want you, first of all, I want to pause it here because I wanted you guys to pay attention to how she reacted to those questions. That was a nervous laughter. And if anyone's watched Paranormal Horizons, you'll notice what that looks like when you see Joe get irradiated from time to time, or when he sees something quite plain. It's a nervous reaction to something that you're looking at and like, well, that shouldn't happen, but it did, and it might, and that's what that is. So she's trying to come to terms with this stuff, but she doesn't want to. She's very uncomfortable. And someone asked, well, why keep it secret? Think about that. Think about her reaction, and then think about everybody having the exact same reaction, or at least the majority of the people having the exact same reaction. So here's the rest of this, because it gets good.
These people that are talking about the Younger Dryas impact theory are talking about a cataclysmic event that wiped out advanced civilization 11,800 years ago.
Well, Plato talks about it, hearing it from Egyptian teachers, and then going back to the Atlantean civilization, and it was a race was far advanced.
What was their Bible?
Well, so
you know what I mean? Like if you can get back to 11,800 years ago and read what they thought went down, because I think that's probably where the oral traditions come from. The oral traditions come from the complete collapse of society, rebuild over time, takes forever.
It's another NASA study that estimated how long it would take for evidence of our civilization to disappear, and it's something like 20 million years. So that paper, the question was, has there been another civilization before us that we didn't know about?
First of all, I'm going to stop right there for just a second and ask myself, why was NASA conducting such a hypothetical project? Why were they asking those questions? Why would you ask those questions?
Well, you could be looking at Earth. You could also be looking at Mars, because you got to remember another government-funded program where you had Joe McMoneagle.
I do.
Looking into Mars and studying how long ago and how far back do you have to go to see and visit these people.
I believe that was 1 million years, if I'm not incorrect here.
It was.
Yeah. Well,
or 11 million, wasn't it? 1 million?
It's 1 million, I'm pretty sure, but here we go. Okay. Go back. We're going to go back. Here we go. A little more.
Oh.
And that's possible if it's older than 20 million years ago, yeah.
If you go back to the oldest works of the Bible, weren't most of those stories handed down generation after generation and then eventually written down?
Written into text. Well, some of them are written by prophets, and then, but I mean, Enoch is apparently supposed to predate even the time of Genesis and talk.
Well, I've read, I just don't, did you find anything about whether or not Enoch is controversial?
It was discluded as, I guess, since the 5th century, it wasn't in canon.
5th century.
And why did it get discluded?
It says the Jewish scribes or the priests didn't believe, the rabbis didn't believe it was canon.
Huh.
So,
I love that. That's
well, and one of the things that Joe's referencing there, you know, it was hundreds, if not 1,000 years. Moses was the one to first take the oral history and have it put down on a physical media. To put that into perspective, if you've read the Bible, anybody who's read the Bible, if you know the stories from, you know, Genesis on, Moses was the guy who led the Israelites out of Egypt. It was during the out of Egypt time that this stuff was written down. There were generations, there were kingdoms that rose and fell, and it was all oral tradition before it was written down. So you got to look at the other stuff. What other oral traditions were there? You look into some of the history, you look into some of the stories. There's a lot. You look into some of the other ancient Middle Eastern religions and theories. There's a lot.
Yeah. But the most important part about this is, you know, she's very aware that there was this cover up, right? She's very aware of that. And she doesn't seem like she likes that. She wants, you know, well, she has a copy of the original Ethiopian, you know, translations and et cetera. And, you know, that's the closest you can get to the actual source. And that's what I'm really interested in. Yet.
How weird is it that some rabbis 500 years ago made a call?
But that's what I'm saying, is like you can't though discredit it, because
that's kind of weird.
But you can't discredit it because, again, like when you have people removing books.
See, this is the problem that I have with all this stuff.
I should be able to tell you without losing my clearance.
Well, not just that. That people that have that information should give that information to the general public.
Correct.
And stop treating us like you're smarter than us and that you can handle it and we can't. That's silly.
Much like those guys did when they removed those books.
Yeah.
It's funny how history is so cyclical.
Right.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, it was 1 million BC. That's right, Matt. And you know, what's really funny about that is you're bringing up that remote viewing thing. She even touched in on, they even went into the remote viewing part, right? They talked about remote viewing, what eventually was determined to be the possible Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
Now, why do you think they were doing that? Does anyone want to guess? Because if you listen real close, you'll figure it out real quick. So let's play that. Because this one was just kind of weird. And I'm like, okay. Oh, I got out of sequence. Hang on, guys. That would clip 9.
Enzo, history is written by the editors.
Sure is. Sure is.
Just something to watch for. Attained excellent sight contact. Okay.
Definitely interesting.
Well, it's weird that they're talking about it like it's a real talent. Like some.
Well, let me stop that for a second because, well, it is weird, isn't it, Joe? But
yeah,
it is a real talent, and it's not magic. There's a little more to it than that. And it's something that you can actually practice and figure out for yourself. It's not evil. It's not wrong. It's just something in here that you've been taught that doesn't work, and it does.
Right.
Can actually do it.
This talks about mosque domes.
Yeah, target is in a container. This container is in another container. It has another container inside of it. The target is fashioned of wood, gold, and silver. The target is similar in shape to AOL. Right? Is that what it means?
Area of location.
Yeah, that's it. Coffin, and is decorated with the seraphim. See sketch. This target is located somewhere in the Middle East, as the language spoken by individuals present seemed to be Arabic. Individuals in the area were clothed in virtually all white, had black hair and dark eyes. One figure I honed in on wore a mustache. The target is hidden underground, dark and wet, were all aspects of the location of the target. You know how much the world would change if you found the actual Ark of the Covenant? And you could explain a lot of things. Like, look, if these Ethiopians have it, which Graham Hancock believes...
Allegedly they do.
Yeah, Graham Hancock believes that they do. And he said that these guardians, they all get cataracts, and they die of, like, radiation poisoning.
We don't know how far it went, and I definitely have questions, but this would not be the first time that a government would have looked for something, especially because people theorize that the Ark of the Covenant had these abilities as a super weapon.
The viewer was identified with the target and didn't know what it was, and then ended up being the Ark of the Covenant after all the explanation they found.
Oh, well, that's much different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So, did you catch it? Did you guys catch that? Any of you? Did you catch it, Joe?
Are you talking about the Guardians?
No. I'm talking about why there were these other programs. They were looking for things like that because, super weapons.
Right. Well, yeah. We always want to turn things into a weapon.
Well, absolutely. Speaking of Guardians, though, here's the transcript. Why don't you read this part right? Let's see, down here at the bottom, Joe. Why don't you read that last part?
The target is protected by entities and can only be opened by those who are authorized to do so. This container cannot be opened until the time is deemed correct. Once it's time to open the container, the mechanics of the lock system will be found to be fairly simple. Individuals opening the container by prying or striking or destroying by the containers or are destroyed by the container's protectors through the use of a power unknown.
Yeah.
And that's actually in, the Old Testament. Too, like that's how the Ark was described. Like if you go in there and you go into the Holy of Holies, and they said that if you had any blemish or any sin in your life, that they would drag you out by your foot. They would tie a rope around the priest that went in beyond the veil. The veil was 14 inches thick. Okay, the priest would go under the veil, through the veil, would have a rope with a bell tied to their ankle, and they would sit and pull the bell or pull the rope. And if there wasn't a pullback from the person who had the rope tied around their ankle, they would just assume that that entity had died and would then proceed by pulling them out by the rope. That was normal procedure for going in and performing the rites with the Ark of the Covenant.
Which means they probably crossed into another portal or who knows what at that point. It's kind of hard to tell.
Well, they would pull the body out.
Yeah. They did that.
You had a rope tied around your ankle and they just pull you out.
They do that in Stargate too. Just send people through and then pull them back out.
Well, yeah.
Could do that. Just saying, all things on the table.
14-inch piece of cloth, you ain't seeing through it, so you don't know what's happening.
I don't know what's back there. You don't know what's back there, right? Exactly.
Right.
Got to cover it up, man. Cover up is the way to go. And we have this other little clip here. Which one is this? Oh yeah, this is a good one. This is back to Knuth. Someone had asked about the who's and the what's and the where's and so forth. And
NW, thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Here we go.
Appreciate it.
So couldn't it have been, if you go back 50 to 100, 200,000 years, wouldn't it be possible that there could have been two types of civilizations there, maybe a really advanced one and maybe a not so advanced one that saw some sort of catastrophe coming, or could have foreseen some sort of cataclysmic events coming, and they were able to escape or go underwater or whatever?
And that's it's one of the theories for what the UAP are, right? And being underwater too. We don't know who creates these things and who these people are.
Yeah.
Are they humans from the future? Are they humans from the past? Are they
both?
Both. Are they humans that broke off of the rest of us at some point in time? Yeah, it's a lot of. Or are they extraterrestrials? Through all those possibilities too.
Yeah.
Now, the possibility of another civilization a remnant of some sort going under the ocean. Let's look at this objectively. One, they would have to have some kind of technology that would be able to withstand the pressure. We talked about that earlier, right?
Hmm?
But if you go deep enough in the ocean, you hit a certain point where you're not affected by any kind of movement. You're not affected by storms raging on the surface any longer. There's no extreme drag from the current. You're just there. It's just a bunch of pressure pushing in from all sides. If you can build something, or you have something already that could go in and sustain itself in that environment, you would be literally in the safest place on Earth. Because anything that would try to get to you would be crushed by pressure. Anything that would occur on the surface, volcanic activity, earthquakes, any of that kind of stuff, unless it's directly underfoot, you're not going to know. It's not going to bother you. It's extremely well thought out, well played, if that is the case. Just for security's sake. We can't get down there. Hey, look, we had a bunch of rich people go down in a pop bottle and it exploded. Or imploded rather. It's really smart if that's what they did. And even if it's a non-terrestrial origin, it's really smart because you're not subjecting yourself to the elements, to the erratic behavior of a chaotic planet. It's a really stable environment.
Mm-hmm.
Tony says they are demons posing as aliens, posing as future humans. Demons in disguise. Aliens. Yeah. Deep ocean safe. Also, you have Himalayan range from satellite photos. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's certain areas that are just smeared.
Yeah. And, I can go into this again, and the legends are there. We went over this back in the day, and in the whole series that we did there, the Fallen World series, right? There's other legends. There's the Book of Hopi. We have to remember that. The Hopi legends literally talk of, these cataclysms that have repeated over and over again. And, some of the wording is just, it's pretty crazy, especially when you get down to the fact that, this is supposedly the fourth world,
Right.
And the emergence into the fourth world, it literally talks about how the third world was destroyed, and it was destroyed by water, by the way. It almost sounds like a pole shift if you really listen to the way that the description is said in the book. But, one of the things is where it talks about all of their footsteps and all the stepping stones, all of that was underwater. All of their world was literally underwater. And, here's one of the quotes. It's pretty good. It says, there are the footprints of your journey, continued Sukang, the tops of the high mountains of the third world, which I destroyed. Now watch. As the people watch them, the closest one sank under the water, then the next until all were gone, and they could see only water. See, said Sukang, I have washed away even the footprints of your emergence. Now, think about what Kevin Knuth was saying there. They were, with the NASA study, they were trying to determine how long it would take to wipe away all traces of our technology, of our civilization. How long would it take? How many millions of years would it take to do that? And it's geological time. It's I forget how many millions of years it is. It's insane. It's like 100 million years or something like that. But what it is, your buildings are gone, first of all.
Well,
but you've got these deposits, so even they'll break down over time.
That theory, that study, I looked into that study a long time ago when we were actually doing Shattered Worlds. Okay, that study wasn't accounting for a cataclysm. It wasn't accounting for an asteroid strike or a global catastrophe that was involving, say, massive tidal waves or anything that was like mass destruction. It was just basically, if we just weren't here anymore, how long would it take for the environment to consume everything to where we wouldn't have remnant any longer? But Ron, go back and read that passage from the Hopi.
Which one? That one I just said?
The last one you read.
Oh, I have washed away that part. Yeah. I have washed away even the footprints of your emergence, the stepping stones, which I left for you. Down on the bottom of the sea lie all of the proud cities, the flying Putavanas, the worldly treasures corrupted with evil, and those people who found no time to sing praise to the Creator from the tops of the hills. But the day will come, if you persevere, if you preserve the memory and the meaning of your emergence, when these stepping stones will emerge again to prove the truth you speak.
That story,
if that doesn't send chills up your spine, I don't know what will.
Echoes every other flood story. The major religions that involve flood stories, that echoes the same sentiment, that they were a corrupt people, that they had become haughty and proud of their achievements and began to ignore Creator. And so they were smote. And that there was a remnant preserved. A remnant that was preserved, and even the foundations of all their cities, the great and mighty towers that they had built were destroyed and washed away. And what was left was a blank canvas that they were going to have to rebuild from.
Oh, yeah.
And the ones that were persevering, the ones that survived, had to tell the story.
Those 12 hours, whatever, how you pronounce it, I'm not going to butcher that name anymore, but those were flying shields. That's what they describe those as. And the flying shields were in the advanced city in the third world. Okay. The third world they were a technological power based upon what you're reading. They had flying shields that could appear over a city at the blink of an eye. And they use these things not for good, but to destroy each other. So they would wage wars with these powerful weapons. Now we have to think back. That's what it said. Behold, they're now at the bottom of the seas. All of that is washed away. Geological time takes place. There are, of course, what you said, asteroid impacts. There are all these things, right, that take place. Humanity enters a bottleneck at one point where there were literally only a few hundred people left. I don't think you'll know that, but that's a fact. There were only, several hundred people left on this planet at one point. There was a bottleneck. That's near extinction. That is extinction. But we came back out of it. And we came back out of it because someone told us how to. Someone showed up and said, you need to do this, you need to do that. Here's how you cultivate. Here's how you do this. And taught us. Or someone remembered. Someone who survived remembered. It's hard to say which is the case, but the evidence points to the fact that it has happened.
Matt says, look at the Native American stories of the ant people, which is the Hopi.
That's it. That's the same story. That's the third world, actually. That's the one you're talking about.
Yeah. And that people, the ant people helped them restart civilization and survive a cataclysm.
Yep.
Donna Ho brings up the transfiguration of Noah at one point where, his father Lamech was afraid of the appearance and ran to his father Methuselah being Noah's grandfather. Then demons disguised as parasites that are actually transdimensional aliens glowing from behind the veil beyond the horizon.
It's possible.
And then Matt Carter, I think our planet is a lot weirder than people realize.
Oh, man.
That's a sentiment that we have shared and I've written several posts about recently.
You're probably going to hear that real soon, just to let you know, Matt. Real soon, how weird this planet really is.
Says, I'm Team Ant People.
Team Ant People. There you go.
It's the Passport to Magonia cover. Talking about all the
masks.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Doesn't the last part of the Hopi prophecy say that when you are washed away, stay and float with the current and look for others on the banks, swim to them, and they are your new tribe?
There's a lot to the emergence story itself, and it's absolutely fascinating. If you, the PDF, I sent you everybody the link there to the PDF. Go read it. It's good stuff. Yeah. That was some of those are all that whole book is from elders back in the day who actually sat down and had this conversation. The skeptics today like to pick it apart and say, they were just quoting. They had heard missionaries come through, and no, they didn't.
No,
very doubtful. Water and oil, those things didn't really mix. But then when they did have the conversation, they realized how much in common that they really had. And they saw that what we say, these labels were there and they were describing the same products, basically. Yeah.
Matt says some of the wooden masks that depict the ant people have slits for mouths and eyes and kind of look like the Nazca mummies.
Mm-hmm. They do.
Tony says the Hopi legend I've always noted that those who perished didn't bother to sing the creator's praises from the very high hills that the other watched from as the peaks vanished one by one. Then Matt comes back. It's not just the Hopi either. Yeah, it is. It was so
12.
Many other
no, there's over 1,200 flood stories. I don't call them myths. I know people are like, they're flood mythologies. No, they're flood stories. They're not mythologies, because a mythology would kind of say that it was possibly made up. But when you have 1,200 different cultures all around the world experiencing either A, a flood, or B, some kind of catastrophic, event, I should say, because there were the folks like with the Hopi, that was flood, right? So there were the, go and, build the bamboo canoes and so forth and all this. Yeah. But there were others on other parts of the world who were told to go into the caves. They were told to go deep. And, the Hopi eventually go there too. So it depends on, again, what level. And we get it. That was the Hopi legend. All right. There are other tribes who say that it's not the fourth world, that, there's other worlds. The Hopi believe there's like 7 worlds to come, something like that too. But they also have a theory, or they say that, we originated somewhere else.
Yeah.
Not here.
And, the Pleiades, basically. Local natives in my region, the Yurok, said when they came to our land, there were white people who guided them and then left.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
And then Donna, going back to the flood and Noah, if Noah wasn't all human, Jesus came through the line of Shem through Noah. That raises questions for me. If the Book of Enoch is true and Lamech's fear was true, there's a lot there. You've got this whole pre-Adamite world you can study. It's very interesting, and it's a conversation we can have one day, but it's going to take a whole lot longer than 15 minutes. Sorry to rant about this stuff. I'm just obsessed with a global civilization saving group possibly existing, and then evidence we see worldwide. Yeah. No, I mean, that's what we do. Go back and listen to our Shattered World series.
Fallen Worlds. Really Shattered World. Yeah. That was something else.
Shattered Worlds was your 3D stuff.
Yeah.
Fallen Worlds. Go listen to the Fallen World series. You can find it here on YouTube. I think you'll enjoy it. Then
I believe it's still there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, it's up here on YouTube.
There? Yeah, it's up there. Okay.
Yep. The London Hammer, buried in rock formation, goes back to 135 million years ago. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Chains, locks,
batteries,
footprints. There are so many things that have been found. I had a conversation with a friend of mine today at work, and he didn't know about the mounds. He didn't know about the giants in the mounds, and which he found, the giant humanoids, I should say. I won't say giants, because I know someone's going to misquote me now, but the giant humanoids, whatever they were, in the mounds. And I'm like, yeah, coincidentally, almost every single one of them had their skulls crushed.
Yeah.
By the excavation process. Well, why is that? Probably because they're elongated. But, that's just my theory.
It's possible. And it's weird that just one of their skulls out of each mound was crushed. Not all of them.
It's very strange.
Now, I've never looked at the book Forbidden Archaeology, so I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, that's Hancock's book, if I remember.
Oh yeah, no, I'm familiar with his work. I've just never read the book.
It's essentially what the series was based off of. Essentially,
Juliana said there is a site undisclosed that's archaeological, predicting our local natives found in our wilderness. I believe it. I found some petroglyphs. I've never.
Oh my God! I cannot believe you referenced that book.
Oh, the Serious Mystery and the Dogon.
Yeah. There's actually a book that was called the Serious Mystery, or Mystery of Sirius, or something like that. It's very good, by the way. And yeah, it talks about that and a whole lot more. But yeah. Sorry about that. I just saw that and had to pop it up. Yeah, I'll keep commenting. We're going to start starring stuff here real quick.
Oh, I've already blown some of them up here while you were talking.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, they were already up.
Oh.
Yeah. So they were splashed up where people could see them.
Okay.
So do we have any other clips, or are we through the clips?
Oh, that's all the clips for this time. I wanted to devote the rest of the show to the folks and let them ask their questions and, put their their 2 cents in. Because like I said, this is a conversation we got to have. It's just going to have to happen because it's going to touch on these uncomfortable subjects. You're going to be hearing this stuff around the work cooler. You're going to hear and, seeing this stuff on social media. There's people who run around screaming the world's ending. There's so much stuff going on right now. And we don't have any evidence for any of that, by the way, just to let you know. Yes, it is true that I believe it was Lue Elizondo, a lawyer, was, in some group, and he was trying to pull people into it. They were there talking about, the UAP stuff and whatnot. And he's back there, asking them, have they prepared for the end of the world? And just being really strange. And then he starts his own little sub group and starts poaching members, from what I understand. I think there's a link to that in the in the description as well. You can or in the comments, sorry. In the description. I'm sorry. You can take with that however you will. It's that whole 2027 crowd. You know what? I think there was one more clip, Joe. Hang on. We do have one more clip because that is the clip. I want to show that because they actually asked Burlison about this. And it is called Burlison 2. That's not it. Where's this at? Here it is. Yeah.
Have you heard anything, Eric, at all about 2027 at all? And the reason I asked that, well, because a lot of people wonder that, but for me, my personal feeling is just that I could be completely wrong, but it just feels like it's kind of weird that everybody's starting to be open about the subject now. Like maybe there is something coming. Like it's kind of random. Like this has been talked about for years, for decades and all that, but like it's kind of like really prominent now. Like maybe is there something going to happen? Something going on that somebody knows?
What,
I don't know.
Can you elaborate? Because I don't know what you mean by 20. The only thing I've heard is that China is going to have to make a decision about Taiwan between now and 20.
What?
So he has no clue. I just want to make sure everybody understands that that's a legitimate answer. Like he's just sidetracked, and now he's probably down that rabbit hole. Just to let y'all also know that. So we'll get some truth on this really soon, probably, because I'm pretty sure he just got exposed. But here's some more.
Just with the 2027 ordeal in the UFO world, like people like Ross Coulthard and other people, they said that they have heard rumors about something potentially happening in the near future pertaining to UFOs, UAPs, right? Like there's some kind of event that's going to happen, and take it with a grain of salt. That's why I was asking you if you heard anything at all, any kind of rumor from anybody that there's
pole shift, alien invasion,
basically
imminent thing.
Burlison, there's a ton of doomers in the community who think the world's going to end for this or that reason in 2027, and certain people like Bledsoe have talked about it. And I actually want to get into this with you too about certain things that maybe Elizondo's lawyers have talked about, or people in the UAPDF have talked about recently regarding the end of the world. But that's the 2027 reference I think Greg's making here.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with that reference. I'm sorry that I'm not.
You're not important enough to get the bunker space, Eric.
I guess. Yeah, I've not been invited.
That's funny. But anyway, so there's a lot of that going to be going on. I just want you guys to know.
So Matt Carter, thank you. Comes with a question. Speaking of archaeology, where do you guys think they dug that UAP up from that Grutch mentioned? If you are to believe Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar mentioned that the crafts that he had worked on that were being reverse engineered had been discovered in a Mesoamerican structure.
Is it possible? I mean, at this point, darn near anything is, but that's a guess. I think they are ancient. Yeah.
Then Beth says there's so much we don't know. The possibilities are endless. Cobblestone roads and 8-foot skeletons with double rows of teeth. Now, the double rows of teeth, that's a modern interpretation. I was writing a book at one point.
There were things that were
8 chapters in and went through all of the database that existed from that time period about all the archaeological digs. And I have the PDFs saved still for all those surveys and everything, and none of them mentioned double rows of teeth. That was stuff that came out. It was like 20. It was in the 2000s. I can't remember exactly when.
I don't know when it came out, but I do know that you may get to see that at some point in the future in some form. We don't know what form yet.
Yeah, I got like 8 chapters deep into that, and it started rabbit trailing off, and then other things went different directions. So I quit.
As they often do.
But then. Yeah, the giant story was, but that it didn't have double rows of teeth. Because I pulled everything from the entire Kentucky, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and some of the ones up in New England. I pulled all the stories for all those. It was hundreds and hundreds of pages that I waded through. Pat, I'm gonna stick to yelling the end is nigh until I'm right. That's the best way to go, man.
You'll get it one day. So Enzo was talking about Skinwalker Ranch. They've been alluding to an archaeological dig. That's true. They did. They alluded to something being removed from the mesa in 1964 for those folks who haven't been watching. So that's an interesting story.
So the yeah, send it over to me because I want to see the actual print scans from 1800s. I don't want to read a modern article that's written based off of them. I want to see the actual like scans.
And no offense, he's not, being that way. That for the folks who don't know, I'm not talking about you, Bigfoot, a little bit, but other people may be hearing that and thinking, oh, wow, what a no, because there's too many articles out there right now that are being written by unknown sources. And, we want the data. If it's there, if there's a scan or if there's a, because I've seen some of those old newspaper scans.
Yeah,
they're out there.
The newspaper articles they're kind of crazy wonky. I want the anthropological papers and it was the something of anthropology. It was more the Smithsonian took over. But I got a bunch of them. Like it took forever to dig all that stuff.
Good luck finding that stuff. That stuff is hard to find.
Yeah, I had to go to libraries. I was in Southern Ohio digging through them and everything.
So what the problem is that a lot of your old newspapers did the same thing that your guys are doing on social media today.
Yeah, yellow news.
They added stuff just to get your attention and get you to buy that stuff. Doesn't mean that it wasn't real. It just means that a lot of those things were embellished in some way, shape, or form, and that muddied the water, unfortunately.
And a lot of the newspaper stuff they were finding, and there's pictures sometimes. There's old like photographs that were taken on the metal plates where they took them, and like the pictures that they had that were double rows are clearly mammoth teeth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've seen those. Yeah. I had a bunch of stuff from the Smithsonian in which they were finding bodies 7-8 feet tall. Yeah, they literally right down the road here. Yeah, that's fact.
Yeah, Ron and I have 4 mounds between he and I.
Yeah,
like just if you were to drive from my house to his house, you're going to drive by 4 of them, and then just past my house, there's a cluster of 36. So they're smaller. They're not big, impressive mounts. They're just small burial mounts. But anyway, the
Vincent,
thank you.
Oh, look at that super sticker. That's pretty color.
But yeah, this stuff is really, really, really to the point now where I think we were given disclosure.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that it's there. This is what you've got. And what could they really tell you at this point, honestly, that they haven't told you now? I mean, aside from marching, a physical specimen out on stage, I don't think that there would be much that would really be that shocking or should be that shocking, right?
Yeah.
It's there. It's there. Now we have to deal with it. We have to figure out how this matters, why it matters to us. Does it matter to us? Does it change your view of any way, any way, shape, or form? They say so. society's going to collapse because of this information. Clearly it's not. So if there is some threat to society, it has nothing to do with the actual disclosure.
Well, Luna even brought up, and I think that they meant that she was going to try to go in. It felt like she was going to try to go that direction, but then the conversation turned, as is super common with Rogan. She was talking about how today religion and spirituality is almost poo-pooed on. You know, if prayer, they're just like, oh, prayer, meditation.
Yeah, she did say
kind
that.
of push it off.
Yeah, she did say that.
And what I think she was getting at was what you just said, Ron. They're not going to be broke by this from a religious standpoint. Yeah, you're going to have a group of people that are going to have some issues. She even said that if they found out that we were seeded by aliens, it would suck. And then that nervous laughter.
Yeah. But she'd tell the people.
Yeah.
They would fight to tell the people if that was the case. You know, that I think that's interesting. I mean, it doesn't bother me because personally, I think we were, and that's just me. Okay. I can have my own personal opinion on that. And it also doesn't destroy my belief in anything, by the way, because I don't know the true nature of whatever we call God. It's that simple. Yeah. I'm not going to impose rules on it. I'm not going to impose laws
can't
on
impose
it.
the rules of man on it.
No, you can't. And that's the problem with a lot of these people. They do.
We anthropomorphize divinity.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
If you are of a religious mindset or a spiritual mindset, it's really the other way around.
It's true. And it's the same people that come to our table. You've heard it before, and they'll pick our stuff up. They'll look at it and they'll say things like, well, like the guy picked the skull up that day. He looks at it. What do you think they are? And we're like, I don't know what they are. What do you think they are? He's like, well, you know, I'm a Christian. Like he needs to put a preference there for us before he says, but you know, I mean, it could be like aliens or something, right? I'm like, why couldn't it? Why couldn't it? You know, that's the whole thing. And I think that that's where we are at this point. You've got the hardcores who are out there every day on every podcast, and they're running their mouths about things they don't know. Okay. They are. It's a fact. They're running their mouths about things they don't know. And they're acting like there's some authority on this. Here's the fact. None of us know anything about this. We might chase it. We might get readings from it. We might even have some form of communication with it. Right, Joe?
Right.
But we don't know what this is. So for them to say unequivocally, well, you're talking demons. That's completely a demon. That you're being misled by demons is an absolute bunch of crap. It's biased. It's nonsense. And I really don't care if you like that message or not.
That's what I tell them. Prove it.
Yeah, you can't prove it. That's the problem. And by doing that, what really bothers me about it is that you disqualify immediately. It's ego is what it is. You disqualify the witness. You look at the witness and say, you're not worthy of God. Those are demons. Well, how do you know that? How religious is that person? Are you judging them? You're not supposed to judge people. That's what I heard anyway. Isn't that how that goes, Joe? Judge not lest you be judged.
Judged by the same measure in which you judged.
How about that? So if you're going to live by that book and you're going to live by those rules, then you got to live by all those rules. You can't live by just little bits and pieces. You can interpret it however you like, but you cannot invalidate someone else's belief system to fit your own. It is wrong. It is rude. And frankly, it's just narcissistic.
Yeah. Pat brings up, if life was seeded by aliens, then who made the aliens? It just moves the limits of your conception of what God is.
There you go.
It just moves the goalpost out further, and it doesn't, you know.
Yeah, that's it. And you know, one of the most amazing things about that is I got to see Giorgio give that little talk that he did there at CryptoCon last year. And that's one of the things he touched on, because everybody just assumes, oh, ancient alien theorists, they don't believe in God. He literally says, no, I do. But this isn't God. This is something that people mistook for a spiritual being, an omnipotent being, so to speak. I'm going to go even farther than that. I don't care what God is. It doesn't matter to me. Why should it matter? Who are we?
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, you tell me why it matters if we put a label on God. You tell me why that matters. Does that change your belief? Does that change your faith in any way, shape, or form? It shouldn't. What if you find out God comes down and says, not only am I an alien, my name's Bob. Shakes your hand. No, seriously, play with me here.
No, I mean, okay, so I'm going to put this into scope for everybody. Bob would be about the equivalent of Yeshua back in the day, which, we changed the name to Jesus to differentiate from Joshua.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that was basically the name was Yeshua, which was Joshua, if you're translating directly to English. But we went with Jesus instead. The Council of Nicaea, and prior to that went with a different name. So it would be about the equivalent. Bob is oddly fitting.
That's what I'm getting at. Just an everyday guy. What was that song back in the day? I forget who sang it. God is one of us. I used to hate that song. And then, as I've got more into this, I'm like, that song makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It really does. And it's like, not saying some of the things there, but could relate to us. Well, if our creator can relate to us, then we should be able to relate to our creator, no matter what it looks like. It, he, she, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's the relationship that matters. And that's my amount of preaching. That's as far as I'm going to go with it. But I don't think I said anything wrong there that was out of context.
No, we kept it really good here. We had the bumper pads on for the kids' bowling lane, so it stayed in line really well. We didn't go where we were afraid it was going to go, and everybody in the comments kept it in line and kept it going. So you guys did a great job.
I will say that.
What is it?
No, say it. Say what you're getting ready to say, because I know that what you're getting ready to say.
You're proving that this isn't that far of a stretch that nobody can handle it.
Yeah.
And that this is a conversation that can be had, and it can be had peacefully. It can be had respectfully. And there's no reason why we shouldn't be having this conversation on a much larger scale.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't need to take our word for it. My beliefs are my beliefs. Joe's beliefs are his beliefs. That guy's beliefs are his beliefs. But we can respect each other's beliefs, and we can look at each other's beliefs and see what we have in common, can't we?
Yeah.
And guess what we just did? We did something called discourse right there. We did something, called actual trying to understand our fellow human. Because you know what? Avi's right. One day, it's not going to be a comet. One day, it's not going to be a big old ball of dirt. It's going to be somebody knocking on the front door. And we're going to have to figure out how we're going to answer that door.
So yeah, you're right. And Matt, it was buckwheat pancakes is what the aliens made, not Buckeye. But I mean, I would believe it. As many UFOs have crashed and that we have allegedly received, I would believe that the aliens were from Ohio.
Yeah, it's possible.
I love you, Ashley. I promise. Mean it. But guys, thank you all for coming tonight. I think that this was a really good conversation. It's a conversation that's obviously going to keep going on. We're going to continue this. There's, in my opinion, final thoughts. We're going to do final thoughts real quick before we roll out of here. This is a school night, and I got to get up there. My kids are in school now. Oh, Jesus. So anyway, the final thoughts. Ron, do you think that we were given a soft disclosure more so than we have been? Do you think that these two representatives just so happened to, within days of each other, go out on mass public media and just basically be like, aliens?
Yeah, it's not a coincidence. In my opinion, no, this is a coincidence. It's all part of the massive chess game that's been going on now for years. We've seen it. We've seen them push forward, push back, push forward, push back. It seemed like there for a while with that whole arrow thing. That arrow was just, they won the game. And I told you, I said, everybody, the other side's quiet. Just wait, something's going to happen. Well, boy, is something happening now. This is it. They are literally moving it into an area to where, okay, you guys made the rules. Well, we're going to show that you broke your own rules. And that's kind of where they're at this point. And now when they come out, you've got two choices: forgiveness or just complete leveling of the system at this point. And I think that that's the only option. That is called catastrophic disclosure, by the way. And
right.
yes,
Which I think that if we don't get something here in September, we're on the precipice.
It's there
of catastrophic disclosure. And Chris Mellon's going to come in and just be like, smack.
We haven't seen Age of Disclosure. Let's be real. We haven't seen Age of Disclosure yet.
Yeah.
It has not been. They're holding it back for some reason. There's something going on with that. What's there that they're not allowing us to see? I don't know, but there are multiple things right now that they can't get ahead of. Like I said, you can't put it back in the bottle now. It's too far. We've never been here. We are out past the comfort zone, and we're only drifting farther and farther out at this point. We're going to continue to watch these things, and as they develop, we'll report them back on here. I would like to next week, providing an alien invasion doesn't occur, to get us back on track to having a normal episode, to where we can maybe show some of your people's stuff or something. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. But I think that none of this is by pure accident. That's my take on it.
So word on the street, Skywatcher is going to be working with some nonverbal folks to add to the data. I'm not shocked. I mean, they were kind of already in the same bed with the telepathy tapes folks.
That's the ones. Yeah, that's who. They're
going to be working with them
from. Well, I can tell you that we're working with some stuff.
Yeah.
So, and I can tell you that you're going to see that soon. And we're not holding it back because, someone's not letting us. It's because I don't have time to put it together yet. But it will be put together, and you will get to see it. And it's something. The folks who were there that night know what I'm talking about. And if you thought the orange orb was something, remember how I kept saying, there's no way they can top this. Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Ashley says, I'm a little disappointed that you didn't talk about the obviously very real Bigfoot remains that made its debut this week at the New York State Fair.
No.
Oh, guys, we're going to close it off at that one. Thank you, guys. Everybody.
Oh, no. Bigfoot tomorrow night.
Oh, that's right. We have a regular episode dropping tomorrow. Everybody.
We have a regular episode dropping tomorrow night. It is the case for Bigfoot. It's a series that we're doing. This one's called The Legends, which is basically we're going to be looking at some of the often quoted legends. This is the first in a special series, little mini series that we're doing on the podcast itself. So we will be in the chat live with you guys. Mm-hmm. So please come over and listen.
It is the recorded show, so it's not going to be a live show.
But we will be there live.
That we will be there for.
Yeah, we'll be there live, as you guys are watching it. So it'll be premiering. So we'll be in the chat. Those guys who did, Paranormal Horizons, you know what we're talking about. So we'll be able to take your questions and whatnot in there. But it's all about is all there about enough? But it's subject A, big fellow.
Yes.
And this is what this one is, and we're going to kind of look at the weight of the phenomena and kind of judge it, and kind of let you guys make up your own decisions and your own minds on exactly what's there or what isn't there, and so forth. So there'll be a few of these episodes, and this is the first one. So join us 8:00. It premieres 8:00 p.m.
Yep. You guys enjoy that. We'll be there. We'll be hanging out. We had fun making this episode, so I think you guys are really going to enjoy it too. So remember, next week right here, 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, the place to be to get your weekend started right. Wild and Weird Radio live, where you guys control the show aside from this week. So I hope you guys are back with us. We appreciate everybody that came in. Many blessings to all the folks who came in and helped support this show to keep it free for eons and eons to come and away from any paywalls. So y'all are awesome. And remember, if you too would like to join the Glow and Joe Club, apparently you don't need to be irradiated by UFOs. You can just go to Walmart now and you can eat the shrimp. It's good times.
Wait. There's one more thing we want to do, but we still have like a bunch of people here. Guys, remember, if you want a set of those psychic trading cards, get hold of us ASAP so we can add your name to the pre-order. Okay. It's just a pre-order right now. And when they come in, like I said, we'll send out invoices at that point. Anyway, I want some of the
remember-
glowing shrimp. I want some of the glowing shrimp.
Shrimp.
So take your Geiger counter.
Right? You never